Yeah, I've got a minute to talk about COVID, if you want to talk about COVID.
How do you feel about COVID?
I'm not bothered about it at all. I think it's got there's an agenda to it. It's been made to seem worse than it is.
Yeah.
If I'm honest,
No, there's a
you know,
couple-
you've only got to look at the figures to see that.
Yeah.
You've got to look at the figures. You've got to see where it's come from, who's supporting it. You know, who's got money in the vaccine companies. It's just a load of nonsense.
I understand a lot of people have the same opinion as you.
Well, you know, at the beginning of all this,
Yeah.
I was looking on eBay for military grade gas masks because if I thought I'd needed to protect my kids, I'd do that.
Yeah.
But the research has shown me it's a load of rubbish. So I've got no fear over it at all.
So just two more questions.
Yeah.
The second question is, do you think the government is doing everything in their power to eradicate COVID?
I think the government are in the pockets of the pharmaceutical industry, if I'm honest with you. I don't trust them at all. They've never had our best interest in mind. You know, Boris Johnson was moaning 2 weeks ago about being on 150 grand, saying he couldn't live off them wages. And then Chris Whitty, the chief health advisor or officer or whatever he is, has just been given 40 million by the World Health Organization, which is run by Bill Gates. So, you know, they're all open to bribery. So I don't trust none of it, to be honest with you.
And my last question is, with the vaccine coming,
Will I get the vaccine?
Would you get the
Never. They can restrict my travel. They can remove my freedoms. They can tell me that I'm not going to get treatment on the NHS and all that stuff. But I will never have the vaccine. Neither will my family. Because the more people that comply and do that, the easier it is for them to control us.
Yeah.
That's it. People don't realise how dangerous this is, what's going on.
You know what's funny? The people that I've been talking to today, the older generation,
Yeah.
they tend to say, yeah, I'll take the vaccine, everyone should take the
Yeah,
vaccine.
yeah.
And the younger generation has a more approach.
Do you know what? The thing is, right, everyone's entitled to their own choice, right? But the problem with these older people is they're making a decision, and it's not an informed decision. They're not educated on it. My neighbour I was speaking to the other day, 76, and he said, of course I'm going to take it. I'll be the first in line because I'm high risk. The fact is that people are overlooking is that on average 20,000 people die each year in the UK with flu.
Yeah.
And now this year it stands at 400. Them deaths haven't stopped happening.
Yeah.
They've just gone down as COVID.
Yeah.
So if the symptoms are flu-like, how do you know they're not dying of flu?
Yeah.
You know, the same people that you got to think of it. The people that die of flu are the elderly, vulnerable generation. They're the same people that are put pressure on to have the flu jab every year. So you're either strong enough to deal with it or you're not.
Yeah.
And the point is, I don't know if you've heard of Robert Coker. Have you heard of Robert Coker? Okay, so he created this Coker postulate, which is criteria that needs to be met to be able to isolate and identify a new strain of virus.
Yeah.
None of that was done with COVID, so it hasn't been isolated. And when the government have been sent formal documentation asking them for proof of the existence of it, they can't show it. They haven't got it. They admit they haven't got it. It's all a big fraud. It's all a big scam. Because if you compare the amount of deaths this year to 2018, there's more people died that year than they did this year when there's a pandemic on.
It's funny because
And the only reason I talk to people about it and I speak out about it is because you don't realise, you know, teaching you to wear a mask is like teaching a dog to sit. You know, once they get that, they can teach you to lay down and do whatever else they want. And you're conditioning your children. That's the problem.